In one of her letters to the writer Nelson Algren, Simone de Beauvoir wrote, "I am awfully greedy. I want everything from life. I want to be a woman, and I want to be a man. To have many friends and to have loneliness. To work much and write good books, to travel and enjoy myself. To be selfish and to be unselfish. You see, it is difficult to get all which I want. And then, when I do not succeed, I get mad with anger. I want everything from life. I know that I won't be able to have this extraordinary pet of my dream, which is a mix of pug, flying squirrel, guinea pig, and Ewok from Star Wars. Genetic engineering could work as an option, but there are certain things human mind should never give birth to in the real world. But I want everything from life. The sweet and sour taste of the most indecent lemon pie that you could find on earth, and the weird crunchiness of a raw and apparently unappealing broccolis. But who could say no to the sweetest taste of diabetes, topped with the equivalent of miniatures of twisted trees? I want everything from life. I want to feel comfort in hard times, dancing like a powerful but dead octopus on "I'm Still Standing" from Elton John. Crying my eyes out while "Needle in the Hay" of Elliott Smith plays in the background. Or having the sensation of being the proud owner of the fiercest vagina in the world, air guitaring on Wall Lotta Love of Led Zepp. I want to feel free to lead my emotions wherever they need to go. Because there is nothing like the magical power of music when it comes to connect with the pure anarchy of your own feelings. I want everything from life. Watching Edward Scissorhands for the 20th time and never getting bored of it. Discovering Buster Keaton's movie. Watching Korean rom-com, followed by classic Buñuel movies. Because there are so many stories to watch and explore, so many constructions to deconstruct, so many opportunities to pause life. I want everything from life. I want the laughter and the sadness, the up and the down. I want the silence that screams in my head and the one that could be felt in the middle of the crowd. I want the comfort of a hand and the loneliness of an empty heart. I want to feel supported and let down, the sensation of not being able to rebuild again and the powerful one of doing it. I want everything from life. I want the friendship without romance, the romance with friendship, the sex with the feelings, or the sex just for the feeling of it. I want friends who will stay forever, and the ones who will matter at a special moment, until they're gone. I want the love that elevates you, soothes you, and the one that puts you in a pit of despair. The one that burns, the one quiet as a calm river, aside with all the inconsequent crashes. Because if my body is equipped with a brain and a heart, how come that I should not use the many combinations of it? Or ignore one to the benefit of the other, when there are so many lessons to be learned and connections to create? I want everything from life. From the green lands and grey sky of Ireland to the friendliness of Barcelona. From the softness of the language and the irreverent spirit of my French country, to the differences brought by the color of my skin, my genetic, and the spirit of joy I inherited from my Malagasy roots. I want everything from life, the limits and the beyond, the fears and the delight of taking risks, the rational feeling of knowing the price that goes sometimes with it, and the intuition to go for it when needed, the taste of failure, the exhilarating one of success, the moments where we have to learn when to let it go, and the one where we know that we have to fight a little bit longer, again and again. I want everything from life, regardless my gender, my origin, my educational background, or my experience in life, regardless the conceptions people can have about it, regardless the conception I can have about it. I want everything from life, and especially the inspiration of the ones who are not afraid to ask for it, but can sometimes be paralyzed by fears. The ones who are searching, digging, never accepting that one identity, one choice, one belief could permanently define the rest of their path. The one who can see life in all its gravity, its beauty, but through the filter of its amusing absurdity as well. Welcome to Transmission, Episode 4, a podcast about the everyday anti-heroes. This podcast is concluding a series of 2 episodes, one in French, one in English, dedicated to the voices of strong women and extraordinary ordinary human beings out there. Enjoy the journey. As a kid, when I was around 7 or 8, I wanted the best of the both worlds. The part where I could play with dinosaurs in the mud, and the ones where I could brush and ride my imaginary pony. One day, B, a boy I was envying in secret for his amazing collections of fluorescent T-Rex, told me that he was really enjoying playing with me, because I did not play like a girl. Boys could easily jump over imaginary canyons without showing half of their bottom to the entire universe while wearing a skirt. No one pictured Indiana Jones going on an adventure in a flowery dress. Not that I would have minded, but the practicality of it had to be considered. When a boy was crying, there was this kind of feeling of embarrassment in the assembly. Girls could go away with, "Anyway, she's a girl," when the poor little fountain of mucus was either praised, generally by the girls, for his sensitive side, and kind of categorized as something not that nice with a feminine qualificative by the boys. If I recall all the fictional pop culture's heroes I was having back then, the list was only including references to the boys' club. There was Duncan MacLeod from Highlander, even though I remember thinking, why all these immortal people will have to fight instead of sharing a nice cake, a love from time to time, a trip? There is a full eternity for them, for God's sake. Indiana Jones, of course. Elliot, who had the coolest though strange-looking alien as a friend, called E.T., or Andromeda Shun in the anime Saint Seiya. It was until something or someone appeared on my TV screen somewhere during the year 1998. I will need more than a podcast episode to depict how refreshing the addition of the character of Buffy Summers in Buffy the Vampire Slayer was. It was one of the time I started to grasp how many realities the girls, women, could embrace. They could be funny if they wanted to, or quiet, kill imaginary monsters while still wearing dresses, lead a revolution and defy the authority if needed, and get heartbroken. And guys could do the exact same thing. I remember as it was yesterday, one of the episodes called The Hush. It was the one where the entire population of Sunnydale got her voice stolen by monsters stealing hearts. Aside from the fact that monsters were quite convincing, something weirdly disturbing between the possessed painted potato and the Joker, I loved the ending of it, where the solution is something about Buffy finding her voice back, and how powerful the voice of woman can be when liberated. When I started to know Mara, the funniest thing about it was that she was reminding me of Buffy Summers on some aspects. Like her, she was standing on solid grounds when it came to use humor, either as a shield or a very own way to read people.
Imagine being in a group, just meeting new people, and you out of nowhere splash, I don't know, question about when was the last time you masturbated or something like this. It depends on the person. It can be, I don't know, shamed or laugh his ass off or say like few seconds ago in the bathroom or so. It's so awesome to see the reaction, and after that you know that okay, this person I have a lot of things to talk with, or this person doesn't have we're not on the same page. And of course, with a few more questions like this, you already have it clear. So yeah, I think it's a way of breaking the ice, or those are my filters.
By her origins, and due to the many cliches people can have about a country, she was more standing on the side of the vampires.
Everybody knows about Dracula, and this is not even real. Dracula is being created by an Irish. Are you fucking kidding me? This Irish created our identity, and from that moment on, we're blood-sucking animals. And besides that, we have Ceausescu. It is also a nice revelation for the universe. Hagi, which is a football player, and gypsies. You all know Romanian gypsies.
After 7 years of adventures, self-discoveries, jokes, heartbroken, hangover, discussions and comment about our choices, I think that the teenage girl that I used to be would high-five herself, knowing that one day she will find a sister with who she will be able to kick the ass of existential monsters while dancing in fluffy pajamas. If I had to define sorority, this should be something about what we have with Mara. Imagine a world where ugly pajamas, dancing, orgy of cheese and freedom of speech are the mantra. Where no topic should be banned, from the last release of the song of Amanda Palmer, to the relevance of the porn categories, to the social and political context of our respective countries.
a long time ago, long time ago, not that long, I don't know, 7 years and something ago, somebody told me that once you're gonna meet Emily, you're gonna be buddies with her. And I said, yeah, you don't know that. Shut up. You don't know me that well. You don't know if this is gonna happen. And yes, it happened like that. We become friends. Not immediately, but I think it happened quite fast. I don't know, dude. We have a lot of things in common. Uh, the music, our teenager years, our, I don't know, shyness, and our geekiness, and our, uh, the way we're talking about boys. I don't know, the way we're dancing in the house, the way we're um, finding a new silly track and listening to it over and over and over again. The way we learn how to learn, like learn how to dance on Thriller, and doing that before leaving the house every single time when we didn't have energy. The way we were putting masks and cleaning the house while Jean-Jean was hangovered. Oh my God. The way you opened your family house to me, you made me feel like home, not only at your mom's place, but at your granny's and uncle. The way you made me feel about even my own culture, the fact that at the beginning I had I don't know, a different opinion about my roots and my country and how we are perceived by the foreigners. And in time, you managed to make me feel that it's completely wrong and it's not about the country, it's about the people and how we are, Each country has its good and bad people, so Romania is not the least or the best. Uh, the way we were dancing when we were going to concerts, like dumbasses. Oh my God. I don't know, there's so many things that we have in common, and at the same time, there are so many things that we don't, and that's even better because this way I think we learn from each other. You became a ballsy uh, girl, and I got a bit softer, I think, because of you as well. And I could write a book about it. But yeah, there are a lot of things that I adore about you, and if I would have had a sister, I would have hoped to be like you.
Before starting to be friends, we started to be flatmates back in 2014. At the beginning, she was this shadow in pajamas I could briefly glimpse in the corridor of our flat in Barcelona, quickly entering a room and comforting me in the idea that maybe she was indeed a vampire. Though, I quickly noticed that her love for garlic was in total contradiction with this opposition.
The first time you started the experience of sharing a flat. Oh my God. It's a great experience seeing it now from this moment, but it came with a lot of changes in my life, from moving to a different country, first being in a flat with the boyfriend and his flatmate, and pretty soon finding my own nest in a new flat with new people, foreigners. So, yeah, at the beginning, I think I was a bit shy. Well, I would say Barcelona chose me, but I would lie. No, I chose Barcelona since a long time ago, even before deciding on moving here. Fell in love with Spain through the descriptions of my university teacher that was in love with this country and was telling us a lot of stories about each city and taking us through the literature and art and everything. The well, the decision was easy because I was starting a relationship with somebody that was living here, and it was or me coming to live here or him coming to live in Bucharest, and that was never an option, at least not for me. And yeah, well, so basically I chose Barcelona for love.
It did not require superhuman efforts to approach her. One of the first points of connection we had was the one that involved us later on in different adventures. When we refused to share a 33 centimeters cookie with an assembly and ate it between the two of us, while our respective friends were looking at us half scandalized, half amused. Or our quest to find the perfect papanache across Romania, this delicious cake from heaven she once described to me. Or the lazy Sunday afternoon on our couch, eating and talking about what we will have for dinner. If there is always something to unite all hearts and nations, it should be food.
And actually, it's quite a funny story. One of my favorite dishes in Romanian cuisine is beans soup. Actually, Gael knows what I'm talking about because he likes it as well. He had the upgrade, the bean soup in the bread bowl, but I'm talking just about bean soup. So years and years and years ago, when I was living in Romania, I was taking driving classes, sorry. And the guy who was giving me the classes was quite nice and friendly, and we're talking about life and everything, blah blah. And at some point, we're talking about food, and we ended up talking about this kind of soup. And he was like, "I know the best place in Bucharest. They're making it. It looks very dodgy, but believe me, the lady who's doing it is like the best chef you can imagine. So you would like to go and eat there?" It's like, well, okay, let's try it. So we we parked the car in front of a parking spots in almost outside Bucharest in a very not pleasant district, and it was like the garage of a house that was closed, and there was nobody there. He just knocked in a very specific way. The door got open, and an old lady with like huge breasts opened the door, and he just said, "We came for the soup." It's like, okay, so we entered. The lady served the soup. It was us and two other old men. I don't know where they were coming from, but everything was super dodgy. But the food, man, the food.
The other connection was her culture, so unknown for me. Being the first Romanian I had the chance to interact with, she had to handle my enthusiasm, similar to the one of a puppy trying to locate a roasted chicken for the first time. Weirdly, Dracula had never been the obvious thing popping in my head when Romania was evoked. It was more something like... a band who is, by the way, not Romanian, but Moldavian. That's with the happiness of a kid of 5 years old that I reported to her any existing Asian covers of Dragostea din Tei, and dive in the meantime in a bit of the contemporary history of Romania. That's first through her words and her eyes that I started to draw in my mind a picture of Romania, where not only cakes were delicious, but winters similar to the ones of Winterfell in Game of Thrones. The story ending up in her unique way to alternate poetry and pragmatism.
There are a lot of smells that are bringing me back to Romania, but a smell that every single time I'm feeling it, it's the smell of the chimney, of the wood in the chimney, and this is something that's bringing me back to winter in Romania, and the smell of the wood in the fireplace, and the red mule wine, and the I don't know, eating nuts with my father, and I don't know, seeing how the snow was falling, and the smell with the smell of the burned wood mixed with the cold from outside. It was giving you this image that and sensation that you were, I don't know, in a fairyland, even if it would have stayed like that for a few hours, and after that.
We could both sense the differences in each other's, the ones deeply rooted in us through our cultures. Her Romanian way to go either for the right or the left when facing a difficult choice. My French one to get lost, navigating through the right, the left, the middle before reaching the point. Even though our mutual frame of the world were matching when we had to take ages to decide between two cakes on the menu.
I'm proud, and I wish that everybody in this world is proud of his identity. I don't know. I know that my country is very beautiful, and I would advise everybody that I know to go and see Romania. I hope that one day Bucharest will be as beautiful as the cities of Transylvania, but it will take quite a lot of time. I'm proud because I know that we have a nice history, even if it's not the prettiest. And I am the person I am today also because of I was raised there. We have something that East Europeans have it. This way of seeing things a bit straightforward, not. I don't know. Like you know me, if I have to make a decision and I doubt what will be the the option, like what I will choose, I will just take a coin, and toss it. That's it. Uh, yeah. No, I'm proud of my identity and my country. Good people, bad people. All the countries have the both kinds of people. So it's not the country; it's the people that are destroying it. I completely dislike the image Romania has today. The corruption that made this beautiful country unknown on so many aspects. We're talking about the fact that for some people, Romania doesn't even they don't even know where it is on a map. On other side, I dislike that the people are giving up. They're not fighting anymore like they are supposed to in order to uh, maintain their identity. There is a saying in Romanian that says "Ce să faci, n-ai ce să faci." I hate it. It means what to do. You don't have anything to do. It's basically the way of giving up because you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Thanks to her, I explored some linguistic subtleties of her language, at the same time so similar and so different from mine.
Romanian is a Latin language, but it's surrounded by Slavic. It didn't make that much sense. And in time, I found out that Romanian is not coming from Latin. It's more or less a sister of Latin. It's coming from a Proto-Latin or something like that. That is why we have that much resemblance, but it's not the same. So Spanish, French, Portuguese, Catalan, Italian. We are similar, but we're not coming from the same language.
And passed my first degree exam, specialized in swearing randomly thanks to my friend in Romanian.
Okay, so there is an expression that I remember my father used to say. It's not an expression, it's basically my father was swearing quite a lot. And I don't know how many knows how much Romanians are swearing, and we're quite creative when it comes to that. So it's something like "futuți anafora mătii," and it's okay. To translate this is "fuck your mother's holy water" or something like this. And anaphora basically is the thing that you're eating, and it's the bread that is with wine that you're eating in order to when you're getting christening or something like this. And it's something that I was hearing quite a lot coming from my father. In any way, he will never say that if he's pissed. He was always saying it when he was in a cheerful way, let's say.
To some people, and at the beginning, Mara could appear as the indestructible woman that nothing could put down. She is what strong human beings are. The ones who can raise and the one who can crash. The ones not wearing their skin as an armor, but allowing you to know the breaches behind. The ones with the flaws and the learnings that go with it.
I cannot say what is the definition of a strong person per se, because I think it depends on each of ourselves. But for me, it depends on the balance. Like, I remember I had so many insecurities a few years ago, depression. Okay, not major, but everybody has some moments of depression where you just ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? What will happen years from now? Where I will be? Should I stay here? Anyhow. But once you're just clearing a bit this path and starting to make plans and starting to, I don't know, step by step go forward. And also, it's very important to have this kind of people around you, people that more or less know what they want from themselves, and they influence quite a lot and your the way your mind is working. So I do believe that I'm strong, and I believe that I'm strong because I learn how to be vulnerable at the same time. I thought this is not a quality that a strong person should have, but I was so wrong. Yeah, years ago I thought that being strong meant to have a good career and the self-confidence will go higher and higher, and you're gonna be the master of your own universe, and it was shit. Being strong means so much more. It's have a balance, be there for the close ones, be there for people who need your assistance in any kind of way. In my own selfish way, I really love to listen to my friends or even people that I'm just meeting and they have nice stories and they want to share with me. That makes me strong every day.
For me, she's what strong human beings are, the ones who are confronted to this unspeakable sadness that life can hold sometimes.
Long story short, when I was a kid, the sister of my father didn't had kids, and her and my uncle were very fond of me, so I was spending quite a lot of time with them. And this became quite normal for me to spend holidays, and I was staying at their place for months. And anyhow, I ended up being in two families basically, between my parents and my uncle and aunt. And the relationship with my uncle became like a father and his daughter as well, even if my uncle and my father were quite different. And when I turned 14, it was the year that my uncle got pancreatic cancer, and he died quite fast. He didn't have that much time. So I decided to go back and live with him and my aunt for all the time that we hope that he will get better. That didn't happen. So it was at the same time I was taking my big exams to go to high school. So basically I stayed with him for, I don't know, months. I saw all the changes that was happening to him, from the most beautiful and handsome man to a corpse that daily was losing something. And I was just a kid, and I was basically taking him to the toilet, taking care of him from time to time when my aunt was not around. And I don't know, it's very weird to describe the feeling that I had. After he died, actually it was on my mom's birthday that he died, it was expected that this will happen, especially since him by himself, without realizing it, told us that he will die he will leave in a certain day, exactly the day that he died. And after that, it was tough because, of course, one of the main characters in my life disappeared. But I think that also this main character would have kept me more in Romania than even my parents, because I don't know, the relationship I had with him, he was super overprotective, and he always liked to, I don't know, he was seeing my future very bright and doing a lot of things, but at the same time, I don't know, being very close to me. So I don't know how my life would have ended up being if he would have been alive. That is why I consider that everything happens for a reason, even death. And it was tough, but especially for a kid that was going through exams and didn't understood why he was getting sick and going that fast from that person to a corpse.
And still, processing the fears, able to laugh, live, eat, and look for what's brighter on the other side.
Well, first of all, I will never have saggy boobs. I will take care of that. I don't know how, don't ask. There will be interventions by the time I will be 80, and my boobs will not be saggy, okay? And yeah, maybe I'm a bit scared of not getting old, but getting sick and not controlling it. But otherwise, nature's course, like to get old at some point, everybody has to go through this. And why would I like to be young for the rest of my life? I'm still not a vampire. Full of wrinkles, but full of love as well.
With Mara, I have learned how to dance on this tiny and fragile balance that life is. This place where we can save in our minds all this memory, like squirrels are burying some nuts for later, forgetting about it, and getting surprised by the splendor of an unknown tree that grew without us paying attention. Like all the ones we had from our years of flatmateship.
But do you remember the time when Jean-Jean was single before meeting this Aurelia goddess? We wanted to to find a match for him, so we took him to it was an Apollo night, and we told him, like, Jean-Jean, we're gonna find you a girl tonight, and we took him to a lesbian night. Oh my god. And with Uli, well, with Uli was quite short, but I remember the Scheisse Katze. The times where the cat of Jean-Jean peed in his bed. Oh my god. And, well, the princess, Chavinia, when he arrived at our flat with his uh, bass, that we thought it's a different kind of bass. Oh.
Because we will never know when the road will have to get tough and dark again. As she would say, everything happens for a reason. A reason to learn, a reason to grow, a reason to be thankful for things that we have.
My worst memory right now, I consider it the moment I arrived in Bucharest last year. It was before COVID started, and I found out that my mom had breast cancer, and she had surgery to remove her right breast, and it was full of uncertainty, and basically I couldn't control anything, so it was in a way sad and scary. As for changing it, I wouldn't change it. I'm very sorry to say that, but I think everything happens for a reason, even for her, even for me, even for my entire family. I don't wish to anybody to be sick, but there are times where sickness is coming to us in order to tell us something. And I think in this case came in order to send us a message to all of us. And now it depends on us to interpret it or not.
Because we will never know when we'll have to fight, love fully, understand, and go from there again and again. As she would say, everything happens for a reason, though it does not mean that we should not joke on the way.
During a talk with my mother, she told me like the level of therapy that I'm giving to her, it's so hardcore that even her cancer is scared of me.
To all the little girls somewhere, living in the shadows of fear of acceptance, getting lost in the translation of the society codes, of their culture, of the conception of the others, I would only say, it's okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay with yourself. And if you have one friend in your life with the ability to see you and appreciate you for the reasons that matter, if you have one friend in your life able to shake your brain, make you laugh like no one, or to challenge your strengths and your emotions, it will be even better. And if she agrees that a life without cheese is a life without joy, you might even consider to live with her in your 40s.
Which is in 6 years and a half from now. We will live together, yes. It's not a big place, but it's a place that is close to water. Well, it depends, but it has to be close to the water. It's quite minimalist because we learned and we don't buy shit anymore. But there are specific things that will never disappear from that place, which is the crepes machine, a fondue machine, a raclette machine, and I think a huge library. The rest, we can readjust it. We have a lot of ideas how to. And Emily, if by any chance until our 30 we don't have a dog, that's the moment to have one.
Émilie Audubert. You've just listened to Transmission, Episode 4, an auto-produced podcast. If you like this episode, you can find it and share it on all your favorite podcast platforms and on the website lannéedupangolin.com. I'll see you on the 19th of March for a new story for the English version of this podcast. Transmission will come back in French on the 5th of March. Take care of yourself.